All right, with this section of the math, we're going to be adding decimals and numbers of place value. So we touched base with this at the beginning of the year, and we're just going to go ahead and do a few examples together. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. So question 1, you have 4 sub-answers or sub-questions to complete. Question 1 says solve, then write your sum in standard form. So this is your first task, write your sum, which is your answer for an addition problem in standard form. Use the place value mat on the following page to help you if necessary. I already have mine ready on a sheet protector so I can write with the dry erase marker, which I will show you how to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with letter A. So it says 1/10 plus 2/10 equals blank tenth equals blank. So we're first gonna write it in standard form. Standard form is when you see it as an actual number, and then we're gonna write it how it would look on a place value chart. So I know that 1/10 plus 2/10, just thinking out loud, it's gonna be 3/10. And I just have to write the number 3. So now I need to know what 3/10 looks like over here. So if I pull my chart out, well, on our place value chart, we have the ones place, tens place, hundredths place, thousandths, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions. We have our decimal here in the center, and then we have tenths, hundreds, thousands. So I always want you to remember this section of our chart are whole numbers. So that means it's a whole. So when you're thinking along money, do you want less than $1 or do you want more than $1? So this is more. Okay, and over here on the right side of our decimal, I'm going to show you, this is the decimal in the middle. So on the right-hand side, this section, anything on this section is less than 1 whole. So again, thinking back to money, do you want 75 cents or do you want $1? Well, this would be the 75 cents. The dollar would be over here in the ones place value. So let's go ahead and start. I'm gonna leave my colors up top so you guys know the difference. Okay, so we're adding 3/10. Well, I'm gonna zoom in as we do this. So you'll notice that this looks similar to this, except it's flipped. There are no ones when you're less than, when you're on the right side of the decimal, when you're less than 1 whole. So we have tenths, hundredths, and thousandths, and it keeps going, but we really don't ever go further than these 3 place values. You'll notice that these ones, especially tens and tenths, tens and S means it's more than 1, 10, and then tenth is less than 1, but you're close to being a whole. So we're not doing hundreds or thousands. We have 3/10 right now. So I'm gonna write a 3. So what this looks like over here, well, it's gonna be 0.3. So when I go back to my problem here, I'm gonna write 0.3. So now doing number 2 with that in mind, well, 14 plus 9 equals blank tenths equals blank ones, blank tenths equals blank. So for this one, you can definitely count with your fingers to do this problem, but I like to show my work. So I'm actually gonna do it here on my place value chart. So I know that we're adding 14/10, and I'm just gonna pick any box, 14/10 plus 9/10. So ignore that on top. I'm just showing you how to use your chart to add numbers aligned. Well, this is the ones place, this is the tens place. So 9 plus 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Leave the 3, carry the 1. Now I know 1 plus 1 is 2. Well, it's 23/10. So going back to our sheet, 14/10 plus 9/10 is 23/10. Well, this is gonna look a little different when you put it on the chart. So it's 23/10. So, well, how many ones do we have? In this case, we have 2 ones, because you can't put 23 in this box. You have to split it. So we have 2 ones and 3/10. So how it would look is I have 3/10. Oops, excuse me, 3/10 and 2 1. So right now we have 2.3, and that's what I'm gonna write on this line over here. 2 1s and 3/10 equals 2.3. And you just continue that pattern going with C and D. Now for the bottom, this is just standard algorithm, adding decimals together. I'm gonna try to zoom in a smidge. And I'm only gonna do problem A with you guys. So for problem A, I recommend either doing your work on your side over here, which will help your teacher actually it shows your teacher that you actually did your work, or you can use your dry erase board, your makeshift dry erase board. So, and I'm gonna use this because I like how these boxes help you set up. So when you're showing your work on this, ignore that unless you really want to do place value, but always remember with decimals, you have to line up the decimal before you add or subtract. So I'm just gonna use these boxes down here. So the first problem is 0.3 plus 0.82, or how you should be saying it is 3/10 plus 82 hundredths. So I'm gonna write 0.3, and again, I'm ignoring, 0.3, I'm ignoring my place value right now, I'm just using the columns, plus 0.82. Now you have to remember, you have to line up the decimals. So I have 0.82. Always remember that when you have an empty space, you really have a 0 there. And I always tell my students to put that imaginary 0 there like that. And now I can add. So now I have 0 plus 2 is 2. 8 plus 3 is 8, 9, 10, 11. Leave a 1, carry a 1. And now this one is jumped into the ones place. 1 plus 0 is 1, and then you drop the decimal. So my answer is 1 12 hundredths, and I write that down over here. And that's all you do. Just make sure before you start adding, you line up your decimals and you'll be good.